Joe Raineri, first guest up. We're breaking down every game on the board. College football Week 7 slate. Joe, welcome into the pod. How are you?
I'm excited, man. Halfway point. I can't believe it at college football. Can we believe it? Week 7, getting ready to kick off. Where does the time go, Drew? I just don't get it, man.
I don't get it at all, man. We're halfway there. It's crazy. It's just like week 2 was yesterday. But hey, Joe, one thing we got this week, week 7, we got midweek football. Not only Friday, not only Thursday, we got Wednesday night action in the Sun Belt action. And I'll tell you, Joe, it's two good teams. We were just talking off camera. App State versus Louisiana Lafayette, two likely bowl teams here. Two of the top 3 programs, I would say, in the Sun Belt right now. Also throw Arkansas State in there maybe. Either way, it's on ESPN2, 8 p.m. Eastern kick here. We got 69.5 being the total. Louisiana Lafayette is hosting App State. -1.5 or -2. That's the Ragin' Cajuns laying at home. How you looking to bet this Fun Belt matchup midweek?
What a day it is, right? We got Game 5s in Major League Baseball postseason, and now you throw us a Sun Belt fun time, which I believe both of these teams have already scored. They haven't even played yet. That's the kind of game it's going to be. It's going to be a lot of fun, but believe it or not, I do think this game is actually, as crazy as it sounds, going to come down to defense. I think the Ragin' Cajuns have the better defense. It's not great. Neither one of these defenses is great by any stretch of the imagination. But I do think that the Ragin' Cajuns have what it takes to be able to slow them down a little bit. They haven't given up more than 25 points this year, and I do think that they'll be able to hold App State here under 25, believe it or not. I also like the best play on the board, the under, to me. I like the under 69.5, 70, depending on what you guys are looking at. The under is 5-1 in the last 6. It's also 4-1 in the Ragin' Cajuns' last 5 games following a bye, and that's kind of what we got here with these teams. So while they're known for scoring, I do think they're both going to run the ball, chew up a little bit of clock. That's a big number to get to, a number that they haven't generally gotten to in this matchup. So I'm going to go ahead and back the under tonight.
All right, liking the under. Wednesday night football and tonight's action. Two good teams going at it. I mean, two bowl teams most likely, so should be some good football on ESPN2. We also got Thursday night action, back-to-back here, Sun Belt talking. Joe, we got Louisiana Monroe at Texas State in San Marcos, Texas here, and two teams that, well, Monroe might make a bowl game, but Texas State probably a long shot to do so. We got 3 in the hook. That's Louisiana Monroe laying on the road. Although, you look at this spot, Joe, Louisiana Monroe has a short week on the road where Texas State, they're just kind of waiting for ULM to come, but they're the less talented team. So it's kind of a tricky handicap. What do you weigh more here? We're seeing 61 as the total in San Marcos. You interested in getting involved with the Warhawks and Bobcats?
Yeah, it's funny because these two teams have the same record, but that's pretty much where their similarities are going to end there. The Warhawks are a much faster-paced, higher-scoring team. They play in those types of games much better. The Bobcats' defense isn't great either, but, they have a harder time scoring points, which I think is going to be the problem here. They're home underdogs in this game, and I just don't see why. I really don't. To me, I think the wrong team is favored. I think that this is a game that, without a doubt, if you're going to be looking at anything, guys, look at the Texas State Bobcats. I think they're going to get the job done. 4-1 against the number in their last 5 games in October. I think they're going to get it done tonight, too, as well.
All right.
Or Thursday night, yeah.
Looking towards the home dog there. 3 and the hook pretty much across the board. There is some flat 3s, so make sure to shop around for that one. Sunbelt action on Thursday night. We also got the big one here in the ACC on ESPN. Syracuse at NC State Thursday night. 55.5 the total. -4.5. That's NC State laying at home.
I'm disappointed with Syracuse. I thought they were going to be a little bit better this year. NC State, on the other hand, they've had a rough go of it, too, as well. They got blown out by not a great Florida State team in the last game. They're both coming off a bye. I love Dino Babers. I'm not sure where they're going with this program right now. And I know they lost a quarterback last year, and, obviously so did NC State, but I don't know, man. Some trends that I'm looking at here in this game. Syracuse is 6-2 against the number in their last 8. They're also 10-4 against the number in the last 14 on the road. the underdog, by the way, in this series, 7-1, the last time that they have met here. To me, I just think that this is going to be a matchup of defense versus offense, and I like Syracuse in this spot to be able to get the job done, man. I think they've got a few more playmakers on that side of the ball. Give me Syracuse in this game.
All right, Joe. There's the Wednesday and Thursday night slate. We also got Friday night action, actually a triple header here on Friday night. So weeknight college football in full swing for college football going forward. We got ACC again here down in South Florida. Joe, I know you're currently in South Florida here. We got UVA, the Virginia Cavaliers, traveling down to Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, taking on the Miami Hurricanes. And it looks like the Hurricanes -2.5 here at home, 44 being the total, Joe.
Yeah, it's interesting here. You know, this is Cane country, man. This is the U where I'm at down, and I can tell you there's a lot of rumblings here. That loss to Virginia Tech last week kind of shook this program and shook this town to its core, and a lot of alumni not happy with what they're seeing. They made a great job in coming back. It looks like they've announced N'Kosi Perry is going to go ahead and take over the quarterback position. They're saying Jaron Williams has some sort of injury. There's some question marks around that. The bottom line is the University of Miami, I think they've got talent. They've always got talent. I don't think they're coached very well. I think they're kind of going through one of those periods where it's kind of make or break. If they lose this game, they might not even be bowl eligible this year, and that could be the best thing to happen to programs. Scary as that is, it's a jolt of reality. You've got Bronco Mendenhall coming in, Virginia coming off a bye week. The last time we saw them, they too were a little disappointed second half against Notre Dame. I'm going to take the better coach, the better team, the more disciplined team coming off a bye as opposed to a short week and a disappointing loss. I'm all over Virginia in this one, guys. I don't think it's even close.
And Joe, I know you're down there in South Florida with a beat on the program here, and I don't disagree with you. I kind of am thinking, the wrong team's favored here as well. But there is a couple things. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, seeing the program in Hard Rock Stadium. You can say what you want about Canes fans throughout the course of the year, but usually on a weeknight game, a big game like this, nationally televised game, as long as it's good weather, man, it will be a rowdy atmosphere, and that Hard Rock Stadium can be a tough place to play. How much are you factoring that in? And that there should be a quality home field advantage here for the Canes.
You would think, but not for the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers every year seem to elevate their game against the University of Miami. They have, certainly when Mendenhall came there and got the coach. They're 4-1 in Miami the last 5 here at Hard Rock Stadium. They don't get intimidated, and I think they have the better quarterback, the more stable situation, and I definitely think a much better coached, disciplined team. The moment's not going to be, especially just coming from South Bend, hanging out at Notre Dame, I don't think they're going to have any problem, because the one thing, and this, that crowd, unless they're blowing a team out by 41, they'll turn on the home team, no problem.
Oh, yeah, that's a South Florida fan through and through right there. The the vibe
so
down
true.
there. Oh yeah, Virginia gets up 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
Watch out.
It's over. Yep.
All right, man. We got Mountain West action up next. Rotation number 112. Colorado State at New Mexico here. 66.5 the total here, Joe. High total. -3 in the hook. That's Colorado State, the Rams, laying on the highway.
So, here's the deal. Colorado State has a very good passing offense, plays absolutely zero defense. I backed them last week at home against San Diego State. I thought they'd be able to have more success against San Diego State. San Diego State, not a great team covering on the road. In fact, abysmal when they are a favorite on the road. But I underestimated just how bad this Colorado State defense is. And as far as New Mexico goes, listen, they turned the ball over. They had some problems. They've made some adjustments. I liked what I saw from them against San Jose State last week. They have not won, I think, in a decade against the Colorado Rams. But I do think this could be the opportunity where New Mexico actually not only covers, but upends this Colorado State team who, again, can't stop with the turnovers, can't run the ball. Yeah, I like New Mexico here, man. Give me the points. Give me the dog in this.
Oh, man, going with the Lobos. You don't hear that too much in the last couple of years. But you're right. The Rams have fallen on tough times. Bobo's seat might be heating up there at Colorado State. We also got their in-state rival here in Pac-12 play. The late-night action on Friday night. Should be a lot of tickets written on this one. 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific kick. Colorado at Oregon. Looks like Oregon minus 3 touchdowns here. 21 across the board. 58.5 the total in Eugene.
All right, so Oregon is about as frustrating as they come, averaging 27.5, 28 points in the first half of games all year long, been blowing people out. So as soon as I pick them for the first half, guess what happens last week? Yeah, they get shut out because they turned the ball over 3 damn times in the first half against Cal. But the reality is there are weapons all over Oregon, all over the field. They got healthy at the wide receiver position. Justin Herbert, don't need to tell you that. Colorado is all about offense, can't play any defense. Defense has left Colorado down. Solid offense there. They've got an opportunity here to be able to keep this game close. And as much as I like Oregon, I like Colorado offensively much more than I liked them against Cal. I think Colorado can back-end cover this thing. I think it's just a tad too many points. I like Oregon to win, but I like Colorado to cover.
Like in Colorado, the Buffs to cover, Oregon to win. That's a 21-point spread there. Good stuff, Joe. On the weeknight slate for college football, we got Saturday's action starting off at the top, 12 noon Eastern kick in the Big Ten. Rutgers at Indiana, 49.5 being the total, minus 28, 4 touchdowns pretty much across the board. That's the Hoosiers laying in Bloomington.
Rutgers, hot mess, fires their coach, don't know what to do, what's going on, kind of another one of these programs in complete purgatory right now. They have won the first 2 games of this brief series here. Indiana has reeled off 3 straight victories by a total of, 54 points, I think. The Scarlet Knights, coachless, interim situation. Kids are starting to point the finger at each other. It would be very difficult for anybody to look at this game, I don't care what the spread is, and back Rutgers on the road to kind of handle their business. It's not going to happen. I think the Hoosiers win. I think they cover. I'm looking somewhere around, 48-10, 45-10, somewhere in that ballpark.
Good stuff to start off the Saturday slate here with Joe Raineri. Guys, Joe is hitting 57% in college football year to date. So really knowing his stuff here on the college gridiron. And we got a special coupon code for Joe's service. Joe29, that's JOE29 at sportsmemo.com for his 3-day all access for less than $10 a day. Give it to you for just $29. Huge discount there at sportsmemo.com. 3-day all access using the coupon code Joe29 at checkout. So check it out. He's got his 5% play up in college football that just goes for over $40, or at $40. So for just $29, you can get 3 whole days there at sportsmemo.com. Check it out. Coupon code Joe29 at checkout. Let's head to Maction, Joe. We got Toledo at Bowling Green, 64 the total, with the Rockets laying 26.5 on the road.
So from what I hear, Bowling Green is asking the public's help to get that license plate of the Mack truck that ran them over last week, known as Notre Dame. I'm sure they have the tire marks that are still left on them. It was a rough go. I mean, what do you say? I felt terrible for them. Bowling Green got run over by Notre Dame. Going up against a Toledo team that is averaging 34 points a game while they have only managed about 18 points a game. This is another one of those unfortunate mismatch games that we're going to have to sit through, but there is an opportunity to profit here, and I do think Toledo easily not only wins but covers this game against Bowling Green.
All right, Joe, heading to the Big Ten. We got the Michigan Wolverines off that quality win over Iowa, minus 23 now, so they're going to have to win by margin, but they are playing Illinois in Champaign, 49 the total, Joe.
I can't think of anything less I would support than allowing to back a Michigan team laying 21 points against anybody for that matter, much less Illinois here. Yeah, no. The one Achilles heel of Lovie Smith and company at Illinois is they have trouble stopping the run. Well, good thing for them, Michigan can't run the damn ball. That's the big problem that they've got there. This is way, way too many points. Michigan, obviously has the athletes, should be able to win this game, but I would never in a million years ask anybody to trust laying 3 touchdowns on the road with that offense right now. Yeah, no. Give me Lovie Smith. Give me Illinois to cover. Michigan wins. Illinois will cover.
He's Joe Raineri. He's the leadoff guy on the College Football Every Game on the Board podcast. Do it each and every week throughout college football season. We'll be breaking down every game from a Vegas perspective. I am Drew Martin, coming live from Las Vegas, Nevada. He's Joe Raineri down there in South Florida. We got Louisville at Wake Forest. Demon Deacons laying 6.5 at home, 64.5 the total, Joe.
Yeah, I love Wake Forest. I think they're one of the most underrated teams in the ACC in the country, for that matter. And I think this is a very reasonable number to back Wake Forest in. I think they're really good on both sides of the ball. I think Louisville, let's face it, they rely on their offense to be able to win games here. This is going to be one of the toughest defenses they have seen thus far. And, yeah, they've given them, 35, 39 points. The last they played Florida State and Boston College, that being Louisville. Yeah, they got a good passing offense. Don't get me wrong. Love the direction that program is heading right now, but their defense is atrocious, and they're going up against a pretty damn good defense in the Demon Deacons, but even more importantly, a team that won't have any problems scoring on them either. So to me, this is all about Wake Forest. They'll get the win, they'll cover, and they'll move on to next week.
Yeah, I like what you said there about the Demon Deacons. And, I'm not a big rankings guy, just looking at college football mostly from a betting perspective. But seeing that 19 next to their name, I think it's well-deserving. Wake Forest being a top 20 team there in the ACC. We got Navy at Tulsa up next. I'll tell you, Joe, this is a fascinating handicap. We're seeing pick'em. We're seeing -1 on each side here. So some opinion in the marketplace in terms of the odds makers and the betting public, seeing 53.5 the total. Tulsa, they can play some defense. Can they play some defense against the option? That's what I think the handicap comes down to. What are you thinking here with Navy on the road at Tulsa?
Yeah, here's the deal. This is all about, in Tulsa, just a heartbreaker, I guess, SMU there in overtime last week. That was rough, but don't overthink it. When it comes to the service academies, especially Navy, Army, Air Force, there's one side you should always be looking at, and it's actually not the side. It's always the totals in these games, because of the fact that, especially in Navy's case, they're one of the best 3-and-out defenses in college football. In fact, I think they rank first in time on the field with just over 22 minutes. Their offenses, long, dragged out, chew up clock, get first downs. They're not going to quick hit you. Their defense is going to stuff you. I mean, their defense is going to come after you. To me, this is all about the under in this game. I think it's way too many points. I don't think they get to it at this point here. I think Tulsa is going to be ready for them, and I don't trust either of these offenses at this particular point to put up an awful lot of points in this game. So the under for me in this one.
All right, Joe, liking the under. Yeah, that clock should be running. Next game up, a big one here, Joe. Arguably the biggest game on the slate. 125, 126, 12 noon Eastern kick here. For political reasons, we will refer to it as the Red River Rivalry. Number 6, Oklahoma at number 11, Texas. Neutral site game here. Sooners -11, 76 being the total, Joe.
Yeah, this is, as a Oklahoma State alum, I'm very familiar with this game in Dallas there at the Cotton Bowl. This is a classic because it was one of those I didn't care who won. As a matter of fact, just hurt and either one of those two teams. As long as you didn't beat us, we were good to go. But it was always one of the most entertaining and certainly one of the biggest parties of all there at this rivalry. But to me,